What's up guys, it's Cobalt here. You asked, I delivered. Welcome back to another sketchbook tour video. So this is my third sketchbook video here on this channel, but this is actually sketchbook number 2 because I'm going through them in order now. I'm currently on sketchbook number 15, which is an infinitely thicker sketchbook than any of these other ones, so it's definitely been taking me a while. I do want to show you guys a couple pieces in this sketchbook though, just so you can get a better understanding of the way my art looks now, because it's going to look a lot different in this one right here. If I'm remembering correctly, I think this is still from my freshman year of high school, so pretty long time ago. As you can see, there are some stickers here on the cover, but not too many because at the time, like, kind of decorating my sketchbook felt out of my comfort zone, and so I was working my way up to the maximalist covers that I have now. And all the stickers on this one are like completely random. I did go through a whole phase in high school where I really wanted to go to SCAD for film school, but I'm glad I didn't do that because I'm not going to Georgia, bro. As for the actual type of sketchbook, this is just from a random blank notebook pack that I bought at IKEA a long time ago that came with 3 notebooks. This is what I used for the longest time. Honestly though, I don't think they sell these anymore, and I wouldn't recommend them because they're pretty much just like really thin printer paper, which is not ideal for all of the mixed media things I was trying to do in this. But without further ado, here is page 1. So as you can see, this was started in November of 2018 and finished in January of 2019. Like I said, even though the sketchbook that I'm working in now is like way thicker, it still baffles me how quickly I was able to finish these older sketchbooks back in high school. It's like honestly crazy. But here is the first page. I never really used to do cover pages. I just did whatever I felt like drawing the second I opened the book. And as you can see, we got a bunch of Voltron fan art. So we got Shiro, who was my favorite character, Paige, Lance, and Keith. This was Keith's wolf, whose name I don't remember, and then one of these little guys from that one Paige episode. Voltron was like my main fixation at the time in high school. Here we got an Oliver and Owen page. This was referenced from like a base I saw on Pinterest if I remember correctly, but I do still think that it is very cute. I guess this is like a pride flag. Here's Oliver again. And then here was me trying to draw them as humans. Redesigned apparently. This was Owen, this was Oliver. It needs to look less similar. Luckily I have since changed them, but yeah, the same face syndrome is actually crazy. I think I draw them again later in the sketchbook, but I honestly really need to revisit these guys because it has been so long since I've drawn them, it's actually crazy. Since I showed some LPS customs in the last video, these are them in LPS form. So this is Owen and this is Oliver, but they were also like my main OC fixations at the time. Seeing this drawing, this might have actually been from sophomore year of high school. I don't want to do the math though. But these were designs for some LPS customs that I was designing based off of my friend Cyrus. So this was supposed to be him as a turtle. And then this is Zach, who was like a character that we came up with in our screenwriting class. It's a whole thing. I don't even know. And then we got Elfo and Lucy from Disenchantment down there. That's actually a pretty good drawing of him. Oh my god. Okay, I remember these next couple pages being really ugly, but I can actually talk about one of my OCs really quick. So this is Lavender. She and her whole story was like a big mental focus for me in high school. And if you've noticed some of the videos that I've been posting on my channel recently, especially my reels, I've kind of been revisiting these characters and this story and sort of rewriting it. So this gives me a chance to talk about her a little bit in some of the lore. So this is not my first time drawing Lavender. You saw her a couple other times in my first sketchbook, but this was like my first time, I guess, trying to draw like a reference sheet for her. The only drawing that I kind of like on this page is this one right here. I think she looks really cute, but I obviously did not know how to draw women, and I'm barely figuring that out now. But I feel like for the longest time, I just couldn't let Lavender be a girl, and I'm trying to do that more for her now. But let's see of what I've written down here is actually still lore accurate. So red, orange hair, green eyes, likes to wear red and black. She definitely doesn't really wear red anymore. Her wardrobe is still pretty dark, but it's more like purple coded now just to match her name. And I'm definitely trying to give her like a more feminine wardrobe. So this like dark brownish sweater was like her default outfit. And I am actually working on a kind of lore video for these characters that I'm hoping to post before February ends. So stay on the lookout for that because I know a couple of you guys have been asking. Let's see, this is just about her freckles. Yes, she still has a lot of freckles. 2 to 3 piercings in each ear. Not true, she only has 1. Not that girly, but really not a tomboy either. Okay, don't really know what that means. And then I wrote wears dark clothes again and age 17. She's not 17 anymore, thank God. She's like 24 now. I haven't officially decided. And I even wrote, I really like this for this drawing, which is funny. Okay, this is a dead OC. She does not exist anymore, but this was supposed to be a side character for the Lavender story. Her name is Jessica, or Jess. If you guys watched my old attempt at an LPS series here on this channel, you would recognize these characters because that's the old version of the story. Those videos are unlisted now, but you can still find them in a playlist if you really wanted to. But Jess doesn't exist in the storyline anymore. This pose is crazy. What is going on with her arm? And I think that she also just kind of has an ugly design. I'm sorry. I know I've drawn like a good drawing of her, but this is not not it. I also wrote here that Lavender was straight, which is not true anymore. She's pansexual. But I'm not gonna read any of the stuff about Jess. You can pause and read it yourself. It's not canon anymore. She doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. But Kyle does. I'm really surprised that I drew Jess before Kyle because Kyle's like the secondary main character. And oh my god, who is this, bro? Why does he look like that? Hang on, let me do a comparison of the most recent drawing I've done of Lav. This is not the most recent drawing, but I'll just show this page. So that's a comparison of how she has evolved along with my art style. Honestly, she's pretty much the same. Like, her hair has stayed very consistent. It just is drawn differently. And then here's a drawing of Kyle. So he looks very, very different compared to this, especially art style wise. Like, that is crazy. So Kyle is still canonically straight. I wrote that he has black hair, dark green eyes. He has a watch that he always wears. I guess I draw him with a watch, but it's not important to the story anymore. Favorite color is orange, still true, but he is no longer wearing a fully orange outfit. That was really hard for me when I was redesigning these characters, which you'll see in that video that I want to make, trying to take the orange out of Kyle's design because he always wore this fuck-ass orange shirt. But now he has a much nicer looking wardrobe, I suppose. Always wears shorts, not true anymore. He was around 19. He's now like 28 or 29, like late 20s, while Lavender's mid 20s. Yeah, I don't know who this man is, but that is not Kyle, bro. Okay, so then there's a bunch of other blank pages in here because I wanted to draw the other characters in the story. None of these other characters exist aside from Gray, whose name is Grayson now. This was supposed to be like a human design of Cobalt, or at least what I thought that he could look like when I was a fucking angsty teenager. This is not canon. Cobalt's human design is me, bro. Here's Lavender again. I guess I was trying to do like 1-point perspective or something. Clearly never drew anything. I remember the sketchbook not being all that interesting, and now I'm seeing why, because there actually are a lot of blank pages in this one. Now I try to fill up the sketchbook spreads as much as I possibly can. This was a design for an LPS custom trade that I was gonna do that fell through, mostly because of me, but here's what an LPS custom that I could have made could have looked like. I don't really draw out my customs that much anymore. Here's another Voltron thing. I don't really remember who this guy was. This is also Voltron related. That's supposed to be like the Voltron flower, but like, what is going on with his hand, dude? I turned the thumb into a finger, but I remember drawing this and be like, yeah, this looks so good. Does it, bro? Does it? I don't know. It doesn't. Here's another werewolf drawing. Love werewolves. So this is a Copic marker drawing. All the colored illustrations in here are done with Copic markers. You can see how much it bleeds through and just like how thin this paper is. But honestly, handles better than you would have expected. I think for the gray rocks, I colored that with Tombow markers. I'm not sure why, but I mean, not that the colors on this look very good because they don't, but I do still like at least the werewolf's head. I think the rest of the anatomy is kind of crazy. So this is when the first Spider-Verse movie came out. Obviously, I was instantly captivated by Gwen, and I still am. So here are some Gwen drawings. I honestly really haven't drawn her since the sketchbook because I didn't like the way that she looked in my style here, and I haven't tried to draw her in my current style really at all. I think I would like to though, because Gwen is very important to my Spider-Sonus story, who you actually see get created in the sketchbook. This poorly proportioned guy that's standing up down there is supposed to be Cobalt. I have no idea who this is. And then this is my OC Raven, who I would love to like redesign in a video and talk more about because they were basically like my first OC. Technically, I had a different OC named Raven, who was my like first OC that I remember, and then that character branched off into this Raven and then also Cobalt, which I find interesting. But Raven was part of like a whole story that I came up with in 6th grade that was about like wolves and stuff that I think would be fun to talk about again. But there they are. Here's Gwen again. I'm noticing a couple pages here that I've ripped out. Unfortunately, don't remember what was there. Here is a sketch for a custom that I actually finished. This is part of like a custom design challenge that I did with a friend of mine. I think we made videos about it too. I'm not gonna bother reading anything that's here, but I guess I came up with a bunch of lore for this character. So if you want to read, you can pause it. So here is where I started drawing Oliver and Owen again and giving them more distinct features. I actually do still really like this page, aside from me kind of hating the art style that I had back then. I can't for the life of me draw a side profile in my new art style, so glad that I could do it in 2018. Can't anymore in 2026, but whatever. So this is a little bit closer to what Owen looks like now, although he's not a twink anymore. Oliver, of course, is still a twink though. And then here is an edgy vent drawing of Lavender, I guess. Okay, here's me on my Spider-Verse fixation again, doing the shoulder touch scene with Kyle and Lavender. I do still like this. I think it's funny. I like the way that I drew Kyle here. It totally doesn't look like him, but I feel like this gives more Kyle energy. And the story used to take place in high school. It does not anymore. They are like college graduates now, dude. I don't know why I ever would have written something that took place in high school. Apparently, this is the point in the sketchbook where it became 2019. And so here's some drawings of Cobalt, my art style looking a little bit different, but I think this was just like a little style experiment and not an exact change. Here's Lavender again, and then this was a creature that my friend Cyrus and I made in her ceramics class. Here's another little mini comic of Lavender. This is so cringe. Okay, so Kyle says, Lav, how can you never smile? And she says, because Kyle, all my friends are dead and I may or may not be haunted by a shadow demon. And then Kyle says, hey Cobalt, you should change Lavender's backstory. It's too depressing. Wrong too, by the way. Good job, bro. This is so stupid. Partially still canon, but don't worry, I did change it. Except now both of them have really sad stories, so I don't know. And then here's Webbs, my sweet boy. This is the first time that I ever drew him. My Spider Sona, who has like barely changed since I drew him. Let me show you the most recent drawing of him though, because he's like my favorite OC ever. And low-key has like the most fleshed out storyline of any of my characters, which I find very funny. Okay, well here's a drawing of his spider suit colored. So technically this is the second version though when he's older, so I guess it's not an exact comparison to what the suit looks like now. But honestly, his suit like really hasn't changed much. This diamond pattern is now on his elbow, and then he has the same shape on his knees, and then the colors have just become like more saturated. But here is Webbs now as like just a guy. So, and here you can kind of see his suit a little bit better. The spider symbol, like I don't know what that is, bro. That's not a spider. His spider symbol is supposed to be the same one as the Venom symbol. I would love to do a video about him as well, because I love talking about my OCs, and it would be very fun to make more OC oriented videos, but we'll see. This says he's 17. He's not 17 anymore. He's like an actual adult. Here's some random punk zombie person. Apparently I really liked drawing side profiles at this time. Can't relate. I wish that I filled up more of the page, bro. There's like nothing going on. Oh my god, why is his arm so long? Here's a horrible drawing of Webbs reading a comic book. This was gonna be like a whole picture. Obviously didn't finish it. We're gonna ignore the anatomy, bro. I did not know what I was doing. Here's some more Webbs lore. So he has a symbiote, and this is like him discovering the symbiote, and then this is me trying to draw it for the first time. I think I also have a sketchbook page for the symbiote as well, whose name is Envy. Okay, here is what he looks like now. Like this kind of just looks like a weird Venom, but this is a little bit more in line with what he's supposed to look like. I feel like I go back and forth on its design like all the time though, so I don't know. It will probably change again by the time I draw him next. Here's some more Ultron art. So this was me trying to do a redraw of the Shiro on the first page. Where is he? So that's what he looked like when I first did the sketchbook, and here's what he looks like now. So you can see my art style developing a little bit. Here's Lance again, and then this is supposed to be a drawing of my cat Coco, and then that's Keith's wolf again, I think, whose name I don't remember. A drawing of Gwen that I said looks really bad, and then some little chibi Spider-Mans and like these ones, which are okay. I just did not know anatomy whatsoever. Here's a drawing of Peter. This is supposed to be like the Tom Holland Peter Parker. Again, why did I not draw anything else on this page? And then I guess that's the end of the sketchbook. Here's me testing out a bunch of markers. And so these were Copic markers, Tombow markers, and Prismacolor markers, and then colored pencils. And that's it. So, and then you can see the IKEA sketchbook. But yeah, not all that interesting. I do remember the sketchbook being very boring, and I feel like I was kind of right with that one. But that just means that my next sketchbook tour video will come out a lot sooner. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know down below in the comments so I can do a tour of number 3. Let me show you a little sneak peek about that one, I guess. This is sketchbook number 3. I look through my sketchbooks periodically, but it's been such a long time since I've really looked through them. So this one was done in 2019, and you're gonna see a lot more Spider-Man art. Oh, there's Kyle again, looking a little bit different. But yeah, that's all you're gonna see for now. So if you like this video, leave a comment telling me that you want to see the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all later. Bye!